Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer. So let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
So there was the improv, and then there was Catch a Rising Star, and the comic strip. I remember seeing you at Catch a Rising Star too. Belzer was the MC. Adrian Tulch was the MC on Monday nights for open. And the shows, people don't realize. You know, I was telling someone last night, I was out doing a set. The show started at 8 and went till 3 a.m. And the audience
wide awake. See, I can't imagine back in '78, why was the crowd wide awake at 3 a.m. in the morning for some funny reason?
And then it would shift. You know, like people would leave and other people would come in, and it was pretty much always packed, you know?
Yeah. It was the pre-boom was, they call the comedy boom when it went to TV. There was another boom before that. The live boom was just ahead of that. And no one really just says this was one separate boom of insane rock club. It was everyone that went to a rock club going over to another thing that kept them out of their homes.
You know, that's when I started. And to watch you and to watch, you know, Larry David do a joke and then throw the mic on the ground.
I would always wait to see when I was going, you're on after Larry, and you had to sit really close to the edge of the bar by the wooden thing there, because you hear the boom, 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 boom. Drink the rest of the beer. Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember.
I'm on.
I've said this once. Before, but these are the two things I remember. And I'm like a 19, 20-year-old kid, and I'm like watching, like that boom was like graduate school for me, you know, because I would go on after everyone left, but I watched everyone, like Ronnie Shakes. Yeah. Oh my God, he was amazing. But I remember that Larry used to get on stage. These are the two things. One time he got on stage and he said, if I at any point during my set go into speaking Spanish, may I use the familiar to form with you? And we were fucking cracking up. And then I remember once he went on stage, grabbed the mic, looked at the audience, and went, nah, and left.
Remember when Bob Shaw used to host?
Oh, I love Bob Shaw. Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
He did the wildest introductions everywhere. He would put these odd twists in your intro.
Yeah. Oh, those were the fucking days. And I mean, being the person who went on last most of the time, getting to watch everyone work and I knew I was funny because there'd be, 5 people in the audience and the band would tell me I was funny, and they had seen everything.
Yeah.
If the band said you were funny, then you were funny,
They had to, because they had to sit through every motherfucking second of it.
Eddie Rabin. And they would have musicians go in. Pat Benatar. Yeah.
Yes. That's right.
Remember? And Pat Benatar was managed by Rick Newman, and oh God, it was.
Love you, Ricky.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's a great cat, a very menschy cat.
How did you? Now you were very close with Robin Williams and did a lot of stuff on stage with him, doing riffs and stuff. How did that start?
That started with my having been introduced to him by Elaine.
Oh.
And then we talked about our mutual heroes through life, one of whom being Jonathan Winters.
Jonathan Winters, yep.
A mutual hero, and Peter Sellers. Ding, ding.
Oh,
ding,
yeah,
ding.
Peter. Yeah, sorry.
And Charlie Chaplin, who were heroes of the physical, and then Peter Sellers would be improvisational in his acting parts.
Yes.
And of course, Jonathan, improvisational in everything. And so through all of this, and then through Dan Pasternak, I got to be friends with Jonathan.
Right.
And,
I know you say
all my heroes. It's interesting to have met almost all your heroes. I'm friends with John Cleese's daughter. I've met John, and Camilla Cleese is a fine comedian and actor.
Right. You say that you got your timing and your words from your mother, but jazz and improv are so similar, and that's your father, that your ability to improv like that.
Now, there's two different categories.
Yeah.
One is mom actually being the influence through the way she did things.
Right.
And dad, the influence for how he laid them upon me with putting that needle down on that record.
Right.
Listen to this, man. And so he's being cool over here.
Yeah.
But he's laying me up on that shot to do all that other stuff by putting that on me there.
Yeah.
And, it's an influence. It's an influence that he kind of knew he couldn't fully take advantage of.
Right. You got the best of both worlds there.
I lucked out some with them. I'm sorry that their worlds took them where else that did because of the pains. And they were not the sorts that do harm to others, but perhaps to themselves.
Right. Yeah. Your father
There was no real remedy for PTSD and being in France in World War II and all of that.
Yeah. Your father served in World War II. He died at 52. I mean, you were, 18
pal,
years
what's
old?
The matter? What's the matter, Mac? You having trouble sleeping? Oh, yeah. You got a little of the shell shock? Tell you what, go get yourself a martini, meet a dame, eat a steak, walk it off.
Right.
And every night have another martini. And every night after that, have another martini. It'll help you get to sleep, bub. Maybe smoke a cigarette, relax.
Right. And he died of cirrhosis of the liver. You were 18. I mean, that must have been, those are life-changing experiences. You're a different person before that happens than you are after.
Dad was still around. He'd be 101. Coming up on 102 years old, And it's funny because the other Richard Overton was 100 and something like 104, 105.
Wow. So if he hadn't drank,
maybe. You don't know what else.
You don't. My father.
These days in particular. But I'd say he lived a long life really fast.
Yeah.
He got a lot packed into it.
Yeah. My father would be 105.
Well, I'm sure the two of them would hit it off.
I bet. My father, he loved music. I mean, he played the violin, but whatever.
They'd have been pals.
And he served in World War II too. Okay.
They might very well have been friends.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was known as this big guy who would fight against the racism and the anti-Semitism in the ranks. And Calvin Albert, the sculptor and artist, was being bullied by these other guys in the rank, and Dad knocked a couple of them out.
Good for him. And your grandmother, that's fucking, you're from royalty. I just put that in. I bet
I don't know.
I bet there's some Jew in there. Anyway, so.
Gee, we were all working class people.
Yeah.
To one degree or another. Mom came out of a little more money at first, but by the time she was hooked up with Dad, that's not the sort of person the family usually associates with, and certainly not his friends.
Right.
So I did come out of a waspy thing that way too, and out of a weapons industry kind of, very connected, but we are the boat people, the yacht.
Right.
Well, when I say boat, you mean yacht, of course. You mean we own the boat.
Yes.
That's how you get names like Dithy and all that. But then she wasn't going for that. She started pushing back. Mom's mom was pushing back against it, and Mom took the cue and pushed back more.
I love that.
So we didn't inherit all of that money, but I think what they inherited instead is a sense of self that might be worth more.
Right. And look at the offspring. Look at that. So, a lot of people know you've been in so many movies. You have an incredible acting career. You are the consummate comedian who was an actor, but you also wrote for the Dennis Miller Show. You won an Emmy, and what the fuck happened there? That's what I'm dying. What happened to him?
He said after 9/11 that shook him very deeply, and that he strengthened a sense of where he thought the inadequacies in the country were, and it made him go right to where he thought the compensation was for that.
Right.
And so he stated so publicly. He is dramatically shifted, shaken, and traumatized by 9/11.
Right.
And that his philosophies went back, and he always had a little bit of it, even in his swipes at the larger structures of things. He always had a sort of right-wing bent at times. And some would say that's a sense of fairness and balance to a larger market. And, I guess you could defend it on that level. But my material was more kind of pushing left. And so was Feldman and Leah and those other guys. And there are other ones that would give you, just give you right down the middle, great, strong, unbelievably solid stuff for that.
Right.
But my brain wrote sort of, I write what you know. It also is write what you believe.
Right.
My brain writes what I believe. And so the material started to become less and less of what was being taken,
Right.
And by the time it was over and we had lost the Emmy to the, which we didn't think was really like, how do you put us up against a comedy special?
Right.
That's not why. What is with these categories that you do that? They're mixing too many things in there to choose from. It's not. So yeah, and then things started really. Then we're going to go further right, and there was less of a place for me. But we're still friends. I care about him, and I don't know what else to say.
It's just so weird because it's not like when I was a kid where no one, you were on the opposite side. No one cared. It wasn't that much different. I mean, it was different. It was very different, but it wasn't like, okay, you're out of, I mean, the GOP is out of their, like anyone who supports that motherfucker, there's something wrong with it. I mean, he's a liar. He's a cheat. I don't know. It's just mind boggling.
I would say that's half the problem right there.
Right.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Robin Williams, you worked with him. You were friends with him. That must have been a really fucking awful shock to you.
It was, yes. I had known that there were things wrong. Bobcat had been saying so. He's having some trouble. And he was also being very diplomatic about how he was putting it. He was saying it's just, there's some issues. There's some trouble going on. And I hope everything's going to be okay. And I didn't know, and maybe I didn't want to know the full exponent of that statement because you know where that's headed.
Right.
And I didn't want to go there yet. I didn't want to add energy to that. And so that's where it went. He was leaving us. And Louis, we didn't know enough about Louis's body dementia at the time, but the studies have subsequent to his passing gone into greater detail, and maybe there'll be some benefit to this horrific death by other people being able, and we don't know what to do to catch it and stop it quite yet, but maybe you have to start by asking the right question to get the right answer.
Right. Your career is so diverse, and you have worked with some of the, legends. I would also consider you a legend. Was there any series of things that you thought, like you pinched yourself, like, oh my God, or you thought, this is it? Did you have any sort of experiences like that?
I thought Willow was one of those.
Yeah.
We weren't sure where the movie itself would go, but it sure looked like fun.
Right.
And I'd learned just enough to know you don't put all your hope eggs in any single basket, but that you do your best, and it's right about time to look for the next gig as soon as you've wrapped.
That's a very important I learned that very quickly, like you can't live like I did this 2 years ago or what, where's my net? You cannot sit on your laurels. You gotta fucking recreate and reinvent and recreate and reinvent. It's so
never stops.
Yeah.
It should never stop. It should be like Dick Van Dyke or Mel Brooks. I
love when you go
that you would have the drive to completely abandon society's rules for what should be happening to you right now. No, I'm sorry. My desires override your rules.
Right. Was there anything anyone ever said to you that you were like that changed you or any sort of or changed your attitude or taught you look at Jonathan Winters. If you don't know Jonathan Winters, if anyone's listening, you have to go watch Jonathan Winters.
Oh, yes.
Now.
Look at The Stick. The Stick. That's on I think it's on the Park Show. And, or no, but it is the Tonight Show.
Right.
And he's on late night and they just offer him a stick. And just go, Jonathan.
Right.
And that was a kind of an act of faith back in the early days of TV, but they knew it. It's not an act of faith when it's Jonathan.
Right.
You don't have to screen it. It's going to get laughs. It's going to be good. And, by the way, I got on my podcast overview, I got Jonathan's last interview.
No fucking way. I got to listen to that.
I didn't know that was the case.
Right.
I just thought this is interview 1 and we're going to have some more fun and I'll get back soon. But he was battling with his illnesses and his diabetes and it was the last one, but it's a long interview and he also has absolute 100% clarity.
Right.
He is 100% clear in this interview and wise and laying some heavy stuff down as well as the funny.
Right.
But it goes everywhere. He talks about his childhood and the abuses he was put through and the lovelessness that made him create these characters. It's just spectacular.
Oh, so, I got to listen to that.
I want you to listen to it. I think
I'm going to hike to that podcast.
Yeah. It's called Overview. Yeah, Jonathan was a huge influence on me, even in his acting. He proved you can do both. And he showed up in a lot of great stuff,
What was your favorite? Well, I guess you have a lot of favorites, but did you ever think like, oh, I'm a comedian? I do a lot of different things too. Did you ever think, because I have always thought, oh, if I had done this, then I could have gone in this path. And if I had stayed doing that, I could have done, I often think.
I don't know. I think I probably opened my big mouth and I pushed my politics in certain places where I know. Look, if you ever see my 1991 HBO special, you'll see I'm talking about it's a much bigger issue than the right wing and the left wing. We are force-fed like baby birds, and that it's the corruption is much bigger and deeper than all of that.
Right.
And that special at the time, people were all telling me it was really funny, and late night doors slammed in my face after that. Right. And without late night at that time, you don't have a road career anymore. And so that you can see it on YouTube broken up into 5 segments. And it is my special. You can see all the buttons I pushed with that special.
Right.
And I think I changed the course of my career with that special. I wouldn't have done it any other way, but I was surprised to see how many things started to I thought I was a loose cannon or something,
Right. Oh, please. That's my whole, she's loud. She's, and then when I came out, it was like, okay, no, you can't. I'm like, don't tell me what I can and cannot talk about, And
what year was that? When were they saying this to you, by the way? Judy?
96.
Don't come
96. 96.
In 96, they didn't know any better by 96.
Yeah.
They didn't know better in the 1990s.
Right. Mid-90s. It was like, no, don't talk about that. Don't talk. And I'm like, I'm going to talk about my life. And it's so funny because then you look at what you did in 91 and then you look now how you would be a fucking hero. Right?
Well, I think they would pay more attention.
Right.
They were paying attention, by the way, in Chicago when I did it. They were all listening and applauding, and maybe someone didn't like how much that they were.
Right.
But and they've certainly shown their hand because they play poker with the hand facing outward now.
Right,
They're so
exactly.
fucking obvious. I think things are coming to a head. It might not all go through the same channels anymore. My new comedy special is on comedy dynamics.
Yeah, your new comedy special, by the way, is incredible. So, you know, there's this show called Set List that I was never asked to do.
Oh, Judy, we have to fix that. Get you on Set List.
So your new special is Set List, which if anyone has not seen this, I was watching and I'm like, the genius in the way you do the set list. What happens is there's a screen and something will come up like Raisin Bran or something. And
yeah, but it's not even Raisin Bran.
Right.
It's Raisin Brain or something like that.
Right.
They switch a letter. Now you got to explain the more complicated one.
You're such a genius at it because instead of looking and then reacting, you set up. You do sort of like you're like, you know, if you were a conductor, it would be like you do a downbeat and then turn. You know what I mean?
I try to get myself into more trouble because now I have to get out of that.
Right.
I try to dig a deeper ditch because I think it's pretty funny watching me flop around in the mud trying to get out of a ditch.
Right. But but that is jazz. That is jazz too. Like that's
verbal theatrical jazz.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce a theme here. And I watched that and I was like, fuck. I can't believe I would love to do something like that.
You have to fix that. And we're going to work. I'm going to insist on a way to do this back in New York. I'm going to talk to the guys and see if someone can't be a New York host for that.
Yeah.
And you can't do it because then you can't do it if you're the host.
Oh, well, I could come to LA, Rick. You know, I do. There's this things called airplanes.
Yes. Come on out. Come on out and do it.
Yeah. I love it. And I love Green Room.
Wasn't that innovative?
I never fucking did it. Goddamn Paul Provenza. But that was great too. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very innovative. Coming in mid-conversation like that. But it influenced lots of things subsequently.
Right. Plus Tough Crowd. I loved Tough Crowd. I used to do that all the time with Colin Quinn. You know,
that was also another very intimate. It was intimate and it was real and shit would go down. Right. I couldn't believe how many times it would get mixed up on the show. And I'm thinking, were they forcing that for interesting views? No, I think these guys are really fighting. I know comics. Yeah. This is a real fight.
Well, I used to get in fights with Patrice and, you know, but then it was like, you're done and you're just fucking hugging each other. I mean, it really is, you know, there's something about comics and the way we interact that's so real and fascinating because we don't have edit buttons. That's the thing. We don't have edit buttons. That's why we're funny.
Yeah.
And so your new special, it's just great. And it's, you know, people don't realize that I was watching it and I was thinking, so many people get on stage and they'll try out new material and be, you know, like, I forgot who I was talking to who said that Ronnie Shakes used to go up on stage. It was Wayne Fetterman. And he'd go on stage with a pad and he'd have a premise and he'd try out each punchline and he'd cross it out if it didn't work. And then he'd try the next punchline, you know, and here you are, here, talk about that. Here, talk about that. It's, and you cannot take it's the focus. You can't say, oh, that guy has a green shirt on in your head because that'll be the end of it, you know?
You can't stop for anything your conscious mind is whispering to you at the time. You have to stay in your subconscious because your subconscious is DSL.
Right.
Your conscious mind is dial-up.
Right.
It will never, ever, ever keep up. It wasn't designed to. It's a memory device. It's going back through files to look for every word because one is backwards. So left brain goes backwards.
Right.
That's memory. Memory goes backwards.
Right.
But right brain goes forwards to imagination. The left brain doesn't know it's not in charge. because it recorded everything. It must be the one that came up with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't know its job. It wasn't meant to save you at any moment, except when your unconscious mind reaches at the speed of light to assemble sentences. It's a servant to the other side.
You know, it's so funny because when I'm on stage and I'm trying something new and then it like comes up forward, you know, like, and it's like, I can't, if that for a comic is like, I'm like, yes, you know, it's so, if you just let it.
Trust.
Yes, trust.
Allow, because it's smarter than you. It's smarter than me. It's teaching us.
Right.
And our conscious mind, reluctantly kicking and screaming and bragging, gets to be educated in the process, especially if we start taking command and telling it, no, you stay out of this for an hour now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have you back as soon as I'm in the car.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and you know, sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself. You can process and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, you know, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
Rick, that commercial with the kid and the
hammer,
is the fucking funniest thing ever. Like, I was just like, oh my God, that's fucking hilarious. What?
And you know, my performance was much bigger when they were trying it.
Right.
Son, pick up the hammer. He won't pick it up. Why won't you pick up the hammer, son? Come on, man, pick up the hammer.
Yeah.
No, down. Pick up the hammer. No, down. Pick up the hammer. No. Just look at me. Just say it. Pick up the hammer. That's it. That again. Pick up.
It's so good. It's so good.
And I was, you know, and the comedians going, is that funny? Is that going to work?
Right.
Trust.
Yeah, I know.
When you see it in this setting, you got to know the setting to know where small is giant.
Right. What do you still have on the agenda for yourself that you?
More set list specials. That was the one thing you can do. I don't have to work a year to build up my next roll of material.
Right.
Boom, 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 baby. I can just keep going. It's like doing tomorrow night, you got a set list. Oh, and a Saturday, you got one too.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do you take any of that material and use it, you know, if you were going to do, right?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. On occasion, it's happened because some parts of it are just a treat for us. Because it's the first time we're hearing this too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, I think, what you were talking about a moment ago. When you did this thing and you blew your own mind.
Yeah.
It's that same place.
The best.
It's just used one is used in this game and the other is used on your own set. You made your own game out of it.
Right.
There's ways to do it without that. It's just, that's kind of like you really get an extra something because they're these weird words you have to put together and make an explanation. But it's all fun. The more trouble you get yourself into in the beginning, the more fun you have getting out.
Yeah, and as a comic watching it, I'm like, oh, I fucking say this, or oh, you know,
Oh,
like
we
the
all do that. We all,
yeah, the
we all do that.
circumcision one. I was like, you know, the circumcision.
Circumcision.
Yeah, I love that.
What was it? What did you have? What do you have?
I was just thinking, you know,
What would you have gone?
I juggle foreskin in the air, you know. I was just like, yep. So
oh, you'd be great at this game.
Oh,
you would, you know. I know it, and it's going to start up. It can't go away forever.
I just got the we have to wrap up thing, even though I could talk to you. I know. I could talk to you for fucking.
We could do a cross-country drive, me and
That's
you.
right, baby.
That would be a TV special.
But we need a big fucking car because I have long legs too. Yeah, you know, my son who just came in, he's 6'8". So
get on out of here. Well, that's fun. I thought I had fun buying jeans.
Yeah, no, it's and he's a 16 shoe, which is the fucking. I trip over his fucking shoes all the time. It's so annoying. Anyway. Before I wrap it up, because she's sending me wrap it up.
Oh.
What the fuck it? What happened to your lip? A dog bit your lip off?
Yeah. I was at a friend's house. They'd rescued a Dalmatian, and I didn't realize this indented part on the sofa that I was sitting on. That's the sleeping spot. That's why it's a dent. I didn't understand that, and it kept going, pushing me with his nose.
No one said.
They were out of the room. I was alone. And I went, hey, buddy. Hey, do. And I pushed him on top of his head, but evidently he was abused.
Oh.
And so he went and just bit me in the face. And so I lost an inch of my mouth. Everything's pulled off to the right. So I keep the facial fuzz. You can't really tell if you look at it, right?
No, you can't tell now with the mustache.
I got the Stacy Keach now. It's off to one side.
Wow.
And, hey, look, everybody.
What your friends must have fucking been freaking out.
They felt pretty bad, you know.
And what happened with the dog? I hope nothing.
It wasn't the first time.
Oh. All right.
It was a city decision after that.
Yeah. Ugh, terrible.
I didn't want any of it. I didn't want this, didn't want that. But, you know, it makes you find out what else you can still do.
Right.
Who else still needs me? Well, I could still act. Right afterwards, I got, you know, the informant, and I got some more shows. I got Chaos and things like that. And so I was working, you know, leverage.
Yeah, but I can't grow a fucking mustache, Rick. Okay, I can't. I mean, I probably could actually at this point.
Right, but you didn't lose any part of that lip.
I know. I'm saying if it happened to me. God forbid.
Well, then I say go with the mustache.
Okay.
Paste the mustache, big curly thing like that.
Do you still audition? Like, do you have to go on tape, or do you have to, or are they like, Rick, do you want to do this?
Yeah, I was just auditioning for Hunters.
Really?
You know, the show on Amazon, Hunters.
Yeah.
And the right age, I could be the person. I'm just a local shoemaker. I don't remember anything about the war. Last season, it would have been Pacino or something like that. But, you know, I don't know. So I tried out a couple of times. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, we're saying, but I'm still going up for stuff. I go over to my manager, Bruce's office.
I love Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith. I love him. Tell him I said hi. I love him.
I will absolutely tell him. And so
and he puts you on tape?
Yeah, he reads with me, and then we send it on in, you know?
He's a real manager. He's one of the old-time real managers that...
He manages.
Yeah. I love
Keeps an eye on. Yeah, guides.
So, okay, here's the two questions I always ask my guests. Number one, we're very pro mental health. You know, I suffer from, you know, depression, anxiety. I'm on meds. Whatever. So what do you do for your mental health?
I used to do Krav Maga. And through Master Michael Burton.
Right. Oh, yeah. I love him.
And then they closed. And so I practice on my own, and I do some Wing Chun Kung Fu, invented by a woman 400 years ago. And I meditate.
Yeah, me too.
And I hike.
Yeah.
And something about putting one foot in front of the other gets your thoughts in a line.
Yes.
It makes you see what's going on around you. And your senses wake up, and they remind your brain not to go down that rabbit hole too far.
Yeah, that's right. You got to force yourself.
So physical activity.
Yes,
you know,
same.
I'm keeping my weight down. I don't want to have pandemic weight. So I realized and I'm cooking for myself. I'm not eating giant guilty portions that I think my depression parents would want to see
Right.
me finish. I'm making the size I would eat if it was just me. And
I love
I'm
cooking.
feeling better.
That
I love
pandemic,
cooking.
I
YouTube.
know. And I love planning it out. Okay, I'm going to do this first. And it's like such,
Yeah,
It's the
that's
best.
to me, that's like Zen.
Yeah, exactly.
Fixing a meal is Zen for me. I'm very happy. I don't know if the word is foodie. I don't know what it is.
Right. I'm the
But,
same way now. I used to be like, oh, fuck it. Because I was on the road all the time. It was like, hi, can I get a turkey club? And and now I'm like, okay, what am I going to make? And I set a certain amount of hour. And I'm like, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to marinate that. And then and it's like so fun. And I have a thing, a goal.
Don't you love how much better your version is?
Yes.
Yes.
And you know what's in it. It's so great.
I know everything. I got all the ingredients, and I feel like I'm kind of the master chef tonight.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. I call the podcast Kill Me Now, which I'm going to have to fucking change because now Brandeis came out with a list of phrases, and one of them that you can't say, one of them is I'm going to kill myself and kill me now. So fuck them. Anyway.
Oh, what's the new title going to be?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
It's Judy's show.
It's Judy's show. Yeah, we should. So the reason I call it Kill Me Now is because I get aggravated every 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, kill me now. I can't take anymore. What pisses you off more than anything in the entire world? Like,
I don't know.
Raving mad.
When I'm driving under underpasses, and these are people that could absolutely have been not only family, neighbors, friends, that the Billionaire Club goes, hey, everybody, Operation So Long Suckers is go.
Oh,
We're going to go into outer space with billions of dollars while we go, piss, piss, champagne, Mylar, squish.
Yeah. It's fucking amazing. People like laying in the middle of the street, and I'm going to go to space for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Look, they all look like ants from down there. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, right? That money, how they could have been lauded as heroes.
Right.
Into perpetuity.
Right.
Had they taken that launch, which was inevitable in the future anyway.
Right.
And this money instead went to solve this problem.
Right.
They would be statues.
Right.
And all the mean jokes about them would go away.
Right.
But they are treating this like they know they are fucked because this place is. And they are starting to make plans to be in orbit by the time it goes bad.
Right. I totally agree. It's so fucking infuriating. You see these people. I know. I can't.
So we agree on that one. That is
please. I'm just
high-tech, fancy talk bullshit.
Schools, food, water.
Yeah, water system in Michigan. That would be nice. You could fix it in a moment. You could take away student debt. You could take away servitude on that level. This gig economy is a thing of necessity. It wasn't a first choice.
Right. Fuck.
It makes me fucking mad.
It makes me
It raises my Scottish anger. Oh, the Highlander comes out of me when times like this present themselves.
Fucking assholes.
Fucking arseholes.
Rick, I can't thank you enough.
This is so much fun.
I love you. I adore you. I love your life. I love your whole history. You're just a fucking gem.
You are too, my darling. We've been best of friends. We've been family since the moment we met.
Yes.
And I'm very honored to be in yours.
Thank you.
And thanks for sharing the word about my special.
Oh, I can't watch it, motherfuckers. And listen to Jonathan Winters on Overview.
Yes.
Where can everyone find you? Are you on the Twitter and the Instagram?
Yes. Either Amerilad or at Rick Overton on Twitter.
Okay. All right. You're the best. Thank you, Rick.
You're the best. Love you. Thank you, Judy, so much. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of Kill Me Now with Rick Overton, one of the greatest actors, performers, I've ever encountered. I just love this guy and his whole life. Isn't he fascinating? He's just fascinating. I hope you enjoyed my interview with Rick. Oh, I want to thank the people who work on the podcast. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. This podcast and my life would not be possible without the one and only Brittany Jo Sowards. if you are listening and you're not a subscriber, I want to kill you. So please subscribe. Please give me 5 stars only. 5 stars. And then tell everyone about it. Because, it helps other people find the podcast. And then I can keep doing it. Because God only knows I make no money from this. Also, if you haven't purchased my book, yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. Or if you're going on a trip, because it is August, you might want to get the audiobook, which was featured in the New York Times book review, but it doesn't matter because my parents are dead. So you can find all of the stuff at my website, judygold.com. You can find out where I'm performing, which I'm in Provincetown. I am going in September, I'll be in Minneapolis. I have other gigs coming up, but I can't remember them because I'm menopausal. Also, you need to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JEWDYGOLD because I'm Jewish. I don't know if you knew that because I try to hide it. And that's it. I will do my vaccination speech right now. If you're not vaccinated, go fuck yourself. That's my vaccination speech, unless you have an autoimmune problem and you're not allowed to get vaccinated. Otherwise, please go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself with the COVID virus. How's that? And everyone else, please stay safe. Please enjoy, your families and the whatever we have left of this summer. Okay, because God knows what's ahead. No one knows. And if you're still listening to me talking, I can't tell you how much I love you for listening to the very end. Because we have a little special time together here at the end, the people who stay on. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. And as we always say, so long!
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.